Hey, welcome in, you guys. Today we're going to be talking about masonry tools. I'm Glen Collins of Glen Co. I've been teaching masonry for 16 years. I was out in the field 20 years prior to that. So we're going to get right into it, and we're going to just look at some of the basic tools that a bricklayer or mason would use. Okay?
All right.
So the first one we're going to have here is our trowels. All right, we have the London trowel and the Philadelphia trowel. And if you notice those right there, the different shape. So that's just a matter of preference on which trowel you would choose. And of course, you're going to have your size from your heel to your toe. And that's a matter of preference. When you first start, you probably want to start out with something kind of small so you can get the feel of it and then work your way up. Okay, next to that, we have our pointing trowel, which is done for smaller work or filling holes. And you remember that by it has a point. Next to that is the margin trowel. And that's the same thing. If you're trying to get some mortar off of it, fill a hole from your trowel to avoid in your masonry work, you could use your margin trowel. Next to that, we have the hammer, and this is the brick hammer, and you know that by the hammer head on one end and the chisel end on the other. These vary in different weights. This one here is a 1 pound hammer. So when you go to purchase one, you would look at the weight. It's usually written on the handle itself. And then of course you have the different styles as if it would be cushioned or if it would be wooden. And that would change the shaft. So a wooden handle, of course, a wooden shaft. So that's just a matter of preference as well. A lot of guys like it, and I do too, to wear just a 1 pound, because when you put this in your hammer holder on your side, it alleviates some of the weight from around your waist. All right, next to that, we have our mason's line. Mason's line is different than just like any ordinary line, say like a string for like kites or string for other uses. This is a braided line. So if you look real closely, you can see it's braided. It's not twisted. That gives it more strength. So when the mason attaches his line blocks, in order to fasten the line, it will give it enough strength and you won't be breaking your line when you're laying masonry to the line. Next to that, we have our convex joiner. Our convex joiner creates the concave joint. A good way to remember that is if you guys eat cereal, you know that you have the spoon. On one side of the spoon is rounded. That's the convex and concave. Okay, concave is in and convex is out. So the back side of the spoon is convex and the inside of the spoon is concave.
Do a little demonstration on the blocks right there.
All right. So if you're striking, you're going to strike down. All right, and then you're striking your head joints or what you would call your cross joints. All right. Next to that, we have our grapevine joiner. So if you're trying to create a grapevine look, it has the bead in it. It's a little bit of a heavier joiner, but it does the same thing. What you're doing is you're joining the mortar to either the brick or whatever product that you're using. Sometimes you use it in stonework. All right. Next to that, we have our tuck pointer. Some people use this to finish joints as far as like slicking the joint. You could slick the joint. Okay. But most of the time you use this for replacing mortar that has deteriorated and fallen out over the years. So you would take your trowel, put the mortar on it, angle it, and use it so. Next to that, we have our masonry brush. The masonry brush is usually used in the same fashion as you would use the angle of your trowel. So it would be in this manner, same stroke. Next to that, we have our masonry ruler. Some people call it a stick ruler. This is actually a modular spacing rule where it has the 5s and the 6s. So we use that to gauge the heights of our bricks. On this side, of course, you just have inches. In Europe, they have the, they're always talking about mils and stuff like that. We didn't adhere to that back in the day to use the metric system, so we're still on the inch system. So if you guys over in Europe, I don't know what y'all's mil stuff is. It always throws me off when y'all say that, but over here we're on the inches. All right, so that's the basics that you would see in a tool bag. There's the tool bag right there. It's just a basic one. It doesn't have a lot of pockets in it. It's just something to, in order to carry your basic tools to the work site. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts will be, greatly appreciated. And we'll see you next time for our next video.